Russell Wilson and his expectations. What do we expect out of Russ? I mean, he's the starting quarterback. So let's take a little dive in here. Look at last year with Russell Wilson. Was that enough? I mean, if you look at what his numbers actually were, what is it? 3,070 yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions in 15 games. The Broncos shut him down for the last 2 games because they didn't want to have to pay that injury settlement if he got injured. They didn't want that part of his contract to kick in. So they shut him down. Okay. But if you average that out over into a 17-game season, it looks like about 3,500 yards, 29 touchdowns, 9 picks. Is that enough? Granted, if he did that on the Steelers last year, we would have been jumping for joy. But is that enough this season? We're done with last season. Let's not talk about that. This season, is that going to be enough? I don't think so. I think we need more. I think he's got to get to 4,000 yards. I mean, now, granted, if the Steelers are going to run for 2,500 yards, then that's something different. I don't think the Steelers are going to be running for 2,500 yards this year. If they do, great. And I think we'll all take it. But I just don't see that actually happening. And since it's not, let's look at it in reality. And I think Russ got to do more than what he did last year. Is he capable? Yes. Is the offense capable under the system? Yes. But he's got to go out there and do it. He's just got to go out there and do it. Next thing is it still a competition? I mean, Mike Tomlin isn't a guy that's going to give you the job for 1 week and then just say, okay, yeah, if you play bad, you're out. He's not going to do that. And I don't even think it's not just Mike Tomlin. Most coaches aren't just going to do that. So I think the competition for the most part is over. I think Russ was the winner. Number one, let's backtrack. Was it a competition to begin with? No. And I told you all after the second preseason game when we saw Justin Fields out there at the end of the game with the 4th offensive line, I told you right then and there, this was never a competition. And no matter what the Steelers told us, wasn't a competition. So kind of is what it is. But is it still one? No. Was it ever one? No. Can Justin Fields get on the field a little bit in certain packages? Yeah, I guess if that's what you want to do. I don't know that you have to. I mean, Russ is athletic. He's not athletic like Justin Fields. Let's not kid ourselves. But he can run around a little bit. Hell, his whole career was based on that, wasn't it? Running around, improvising, making plays. We got to get back to that. So I don't think it was ever a competition between the two. What he also must do, he's got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Look, the things about Russell Wilson that a lot of people have said, and it's the truth. He doesn't throw the ball over the middle. He holds on the ball too long. Or he takes a check down. Now, I know what you're going to say. Come on, Big B. You literally just said he either holds it too long or he throws a check down. Well, let me explain the difference. You can take a hit when you see the rush coming, and that's an easier hit to take than one and hold on to it and take a sack, than one that you don't see coming because you're holding the ball to throw it to the place that it needs to go, and you get hit throwing the football. Different kind of hit. It just is. Anybody that's either played football or knows football understands the difference. And Russ has been taking a lot of sacks that he doesn't have to take. Stop holding the ball. Checking down because he doesn't even want to get hit. Hey, look, this is an offense that you got to throw the ball down the middle of the field. It's predicated on you throwing it down the middle of the field. That was with some of the stuff that we used to scream about Kenny Pickett not doing last year. Throwing the ball down the middle of the field. He didn't do that. And now some of that was scheme. Obviously, we're not going to talk about that offensive coordinator. We're not going to bring him up. But some of it was Pickett, and we know that. Russell Wilson can't be that same guy. Got to throw the ball down the middle of the field. This offense is predicated on you attacking the middle of the defense. So if he's going to be our quarterback, he's got to be able to do that. So now here's another thing about Russell Wilson is he the future? Like if Russell Wilson has a good game or a good season, I should say, is he going to be the future for the next 3 to 5 years? Are we okay with that? Saying that, okay, he had a good year. We're going to turn this thing over to Russ for the next 3 to 5 years. Because remember, he's 36. So he's not going to play forever. But the way that the rules are, you can play into your 40s at the quarterback position. You can do that. And you can be effective as long as you can continue to play, if your body holds up. And in that second preseason game, we saw some zip on the ball from Russell Wilson that we didn't see in the first. I'll give him that. But is he the future? Are we okay if he has a good season? Do we want him to be the guy for the next 3 to 4 years or 3 to 5 years? I guess. I mean, because if not, and again, this is all predicated on him having a good season. Because if it's a bad season, we know what we're doing. We're going to find us another quarterback. And I don't even think it's going to be Justin Fields. We'll just, depending on if Fields comes in, but that's a different question. We'll get to that. But if he doesn't have a good season, then we're out. But if he does, I think we got to keep him, don't we? Because why are we going to go? We're going to try to draft somebody, go get somebody else in free agency. I think if he does have that good season, we stay. 3 to 5 years doesn't seem like that long. As long as his body holds up and he can continue to play and be effective, I think we do it. Let's go to the poll question, people. Let's go to the poll question. So the poll here, how many games does Russell Wilson start in 2024? I think that's a good question. A, 2 to 4 games. B, 5 to 8. C, 9 to 12. D, 12 plus. Leave your answers in the comments. Yeah, I don't think it's 2 to 4 unless there's an injury, God forbid. So I don't think there's any chance that it's going to. I think it's probably 12 or more, but we'll see. He's got to play well. And there's some people out there that's saying that the leash is going to be really short. I don't believe that. I mean, everything in this offseason should tell you that the leash is not going to be short. He barely practiced. He didn't do a ton in the preseason, and he's the starter. So why would you make a guy that basically hasn't done anything in training camp or preseason? Why would you then turn around and say, oh, well, that guy, yeah, his leash is very short? Doesn't make sense. I don't think that's where the Steelers are going.